What's up, y'all, and thanks for stopping by the Surge T channel. I am Surge T, and tonight I'll be giving my review for AEW All Out for September 5, 2021. And I gotta say, this may be the best pay per view of 2021 thus far, and it may be one of the best pay per views I've seen in the last 10 years. That may have been the case then, but AEW topped themselves once again in 2021. What's up, y'all, and thanks for stopping by Search T channel. I am Search T, and like I said, AEW has done it again. In this video, I'll be doing my review of AEW Full Gear 2021. What an amazing pay-per-view. Truly a great, just a great show all around. I completely enjoyed it. I didn't think any of the matches were weak, not well done. Um, no negative adjectives to put out there. I really did love this pay per view. So let's get into the review itself. Let's talk about each match, and and I'll tell you what I thought was. Let's say the top three matches. Even though they were all good, but there could only be three that could be the top three. So let's talk about this. First match was MJF versus Darby Allin. This match really did set the pace, and it really did set the tone for the evening. And I gotta say, these two, especially MJF, you can say whatever you want about the guy, but the guy can wrestle his ass off. This dude is really talented. And for the arrogant nature of his character and the way he treats people, it's like you just watch him in the ring, man. Forget about all about that extracurricular stuff that he does, man. When he's in the ring, man, he really does take you to the limit. Darby Allin hung in there. Darby Allin came in and he wrestled like he said he was going to. They went move for move, hold for hold, punch for punch, kick for kick. Everything that you do in a wrestling match, they were actually definitely. There was a time when they were just transitioning into just different types of pins and holds and wrist locks and stuff like that. They were just, they were like they had each other's hands clasped to each other, and they were not letting go of each other. They were tossing one guy backwards, the other one would follow, all kinds of things, and then they went to the air. They were grounded. They were even outside the ring, and this match really just flowed well. These two really have great chemistry in that ring, and I really enjoyed what they put out there. But typical fashion, probably the one thing that I didn't like is how it ended. It was too clean cut. It was too cut and dry, kind of, I should say. And then what happens is that Darby Allin ends up getting tagged by the dynamite diamond ring that MJF had in his briefs, in his shorts, and MJF pins Darby Allin with the side headlock that he said at the beginning of the match, or in a pre-match in thing. He said that he was going to beat Darby Allin with a side head, with a side headlock, what am I saying? Side headlock takeover, and he did. So like I forgot who said it, or was that a Tony, or it was JR, but they said that we're not going to hear the end of it. And yeah, he's going to definitely brag on Wednesday or on Friday, whichever show he's going to be showing up on. Uh, you know, so let's move on. The AEW Tag Team Championship match. This match right here, to me, I would definitely say would be my favorite match of the evening. Well, at least at this point. But this match was amazing. You had the okay, it was an AEW Tag Team Championship match. We see the AAA Tag Team Champions FTR. They're going to challenge, of course, the champions, the Lucha Bros. And Justin Roberts pronounces it's triple. He pronounces it Triple A, not Triple A. And I laughed my ass off because it's like he must have been told to say Triple A. You can kind of hear the hesitation in his voice, almost like he probably wanted to say it, but he probably was told, no, you got to say Triple A. I don't know if many of us, I mean, I know I can only talk for myself and how annoying it is when he says AAA ah. What is AAA ah? I get it. It's AAA, and how they say it probably in Mexico or in the promotion AAA. But I said, don't pronounce it that way. Who are you trying to impress, Justin Roberts, or who are you trying to, thing? You know what I mean? Like, and then when I heard him say it, I'm like laughing my ass off, like going, okay, yeah, finally, I guess he got it. Let's just to see what happens next time when he announces, FTR in a match to see if he just did it just this time or he's gonna change, but go back to saying AAA ah, which is dumb. I swear I cannot stand when he says it that way. But this match, man, I gotta tell you, FDR, man, like I said, they are definitely a throwback to like the Brain Busters, to like the Minnesota Wrecking Crew, the old like 80s and 80s and 90s, even before that. They're like an old school team, and I'm telling you, these guys really took it to the Lucha Bros. You were thinking that they were going to end up winning the tag team titles. I thought at certain points it looked like they were going to do it, but you see, you know, Phoenix and Penta, they weren't going to just lay down and let them, you know, beat them and win the tag team titles. Like we all remember Penta and Ray Phoenix when they won the the tag team titles at All Out in that amazing steel cage match against the Young Bucks. You saw that kind of action in this match, even though it's a different type of team that they were going against and defending their title against here. But there's one point where there's a lot of things happening, of course, in this match. A lot of just amazing tag team cohesion and great tag team work and chemistry in the ring. These two teams really do mesh really well. I saw like a not Dash, but Cash Wheeler get thrown over the top turnbuckle, and I'm thinking, did he have a flashback to when his arm got caught and ripped, cut him, cut. You know what I mean? Like, I wonder if he thinks that, and that happened at one point. They tried to get the stump pile driver. FDR tried to do that to Ray Phoenix or Penta, one of the two. The match is, because the match was just so back and forth and so quick and so like that. Sometimes you don't catch the action right away, or you don't know who's who. And at one point they tried to fool the referee or even fool Penta and Phoenix by putting their masks on, and you can kind of tell who Cash Wheeler is because he's the one with the hair. Because remember, Dax Harwood doesn't have hair, so I don't know why they thought they were gonna get away with it. And then in the end, we see what I call it, Penta and Phoenix hit the what I call it, the package pile driver, double team move, and they pin Cash Wheeler, and they retain the titles. I thoroughly enjoyed this match, and the funny thing is though is that Cash Wheeler wasn't even the right guy. He wasn't even the legal man, but it's too late now, right? He got pinned, but the thing about it though is that they both had masks on, so who does the ref know? That got thing, right? That got tagged in, and it's just funny how it ended. But I guess FDR could probably file a grievance and say, hey, I wasn't the one that was the legal man in the ring. But yeah, it was a great match, and they're two for two when it comes to the matches. This was another great match. It just kept elevating the whole pay-per-view. And then we see the next match is the finals for the World Title Eliminator Tournament. It's Miro versus Brian Danielson. Now this match, they both took it to each other. They're very physical. Brian Danielson and Miro are trading kicks and punches. A lot of kicks. There was one point where Miro was telling Brian Danielson, right here, and he's allowing him to kick him here, like a couple times, and then Miro would kick him and knock him down. Miro ain't no slouch when it comes to the power in his kicks. You know what I mean? And he just allowed Brian Danielson to hit him anywhere, and then he would just kick him and knock him down. Brian Danielson tried to get in his stuff, especially the whole thing where he dives off the top turnbuckle and then and then he goes towards the ropes. The guy always misses him, right? The clothesline him, and then when Brian Danielson goes off the ropes, he ends up connecting with that elbow. But Miro did what everybody should do, you know. That's like John Cena's 5 moves of doom, where, so what Cena does, shoulder block, another shoulder block, the guy goes to punch him, misses him, and then John Cena does a thing, what do you call it, what's that, belly to back suplex, and then he does the damn, you can't see me. Then Brian Danielson does that thing, and it's just like going, that's something that he does all the time. If he jumps off backflips off of the top turnbuckle, do what Miro does, step back, and then take him out with a move. That's what he did, But this match was really just a lot of just hard hitting action. Like these guys really were throwing everything at each other. And Miro is just a beast. He's like a strong guy. Like he apparently was, something wrong with his, with his, like, cause he's taped up, so it's probably weak. Before he even got into the match, his thigh area was taped up. And from a seated position, he was down like he had a submission hold on him, and he was able to pick up Brian Danielson from a seated position. Not only a seated position, he was on his back. He was down on the mat, And we know that what he's capable of doing. I thought he was going to win. I even said that in my last in my Rampage Rampage video. But in the end, well, let's say what happens that led up to the outcome. Miro took a DDT off the top rope, or the top turnbuckle, I should say. And then he ends up tapping immediately when he's put into submission hold by Brian Danielson. And then Danielson becomes the new #1 contender for the AEW World Championship. And that's going to be an amazing match, whoever he faces, after we see who wins, or if the title is retained in the main event. But let's move on. Like I said, that right there continued that momentum. The pay-per-view just continued to get better and better. A Falls Count Anywhere match between the Young Bucks and Adam Cole versus Jurassic Express and Christian Cage. This is a match, of course, that we know was going to be all over the place because it's a Fall Count Anywhere match. It got really, really physical. That I really, really like. Super kicks all around. There was even a point where on the stage, the Super Click, delivered a triple super kicks to who was that to? That was to Christian Cage, or was it to Luchasaurus? But they did that. They delivered, super kicks to Jungle Boy. And there was one point where they decided, they had a shoulder, no, not shoulder, but a knee pad thing. They could, something that they could pull over their their knees, right? It was a thing, and then it had tacks on it. They decided to put it on, and they did a triple V trigger to Luchasaurus. And we see the chairs introduced into the match. When they were in the ring, Adam Cole was actually laid down again. He was busted open early in the match. He was laid down, his head on the chair. Christian Cage gives Jungle Boy the chair. Kind of hesitated, and then the Bucks were able to come in and save Adam and like that. But then when they're on the stage, and then they had Matt Jackson in a position for a concerto. Jungle Boy looks up, takes a breath, and then just nails him, just lays into Matt Jackson's, head and connects it, cracks his head. Not cracks it open, but he does. You hear the sound of a crack, and he pins Matt Jackson, and they win the match. And it was a very, very fun match. And I love everything. I love the spots that were in there, especially the Young Bucks. I always gave them a hard time in the past, but they really, really have become a tag team that I'm now being able to enjoy. I've never said, even when I was complaining about them, I never said that they weren't a great tag team. If I did, Maybe it was just because in the moment. Maybe it's because the match that I watched and I didn't think that they were great in it. You know, sometimes they tend to do things that kind of get on your nerves. You know what I mean? But there was some great spots. I mean, there was a spot where Jungle Boy, Adam Cole was on sitting on the top, or he's actually sitting. He was standing on the apron. Jungle Boy jumps over the rope and does a Hurricane Rana and flips Adam Cole into the table that's like maybe 5 feet away from him, and he landed Adam Cole so perfectly on the table. It was like a really great spot, well choreographed. They really, really did well. It was great, and the table shattered. Thank you. I'm glad that I didn't see the table just go off to the side, because a number of the dynamites and rampages in the past, maybe even the pay per view thing, like the table didn't break, And then we saw Matt Jackson do a Macho Man inspired elbow and put somebody through the table. I'm trying to remember who it was. Who was that? I don't know. Maybe it was Christian Cage, but he did it, and it was also an amazing spot. Like I said, these two teams, so it's been a rivalry that started since Adam Cole made his return, and I really really like it. I enjoy it. I don't think I want it to end. It's pretty cool that these guys were are feuding like they are, and it's great that in the end, we saw Jurassic Express and Christian Cage get the victory. And let it continue. Let's let it keep going. Let's see some more out of these guys. Maybe another match, singles match between Jungle Boy and Adam Cole. But see, again, continue. It's continuing to keep the pay per view just on that incredible level where it's entertaining. Like I said in the beginning, not one match did I not enjoy. I enjoyed everything in this pay per view. But let's continue. Andrade El Idolo and Malachi Black versus Pac and Cody Rhodes. And a lot of, because despite the non tag team cohesion of Pac and Cody, because we saw it throughout the entire match. They kept tagging each other when the other guy didn't want to get tagged in. Cody was getting booed. I think it's like somebody, I think JR said, is it hip to boo Cody? You know what I mean? I'm thinking that they were doing that maybe just because of the fact that they feel that, okay, that's the cool thing to do now, to boo Cody. Everybody joins in. But I don't know if people hate Cody. I don't know if they're doing it because it's cool to do it. But Cody Rhodes has kind of let the fans down. He has kind of focused on other things, and maybe people are just tired of seeing him in the ring because it seems like he's not being serious. He's not taking the thing. He was trying his best. He was trying to get the crowd behind him pumped up. Nobody was really reacting. You know what I'm saying? And he would do things. There were times when he was on the outside, and Pac needed to get a tag in, and he was outside on the floor there, and Matt Sampson, or what's his name? The lead trainer, or the official there, one of the like for the guys who take care of you when you're injured or hurt. He's the lead guy, head guy. I'm trying to remember what his title was, but he was there looking at Cody, tending to him and stuff like that. And then Cody comes up on the apron all of a sudden, and he's wanting to tag in. He finally did get in, but Pac is just like, what's going on? Even on the side of the what do you call it? Even on those guys aside, Malachi Black and El Idolo, Andrade, they were even doing the whole thing of tagging each other in, tagging the guy in when he don't want to get tagged in, or the guy wanted to tag in and stuff like that. Looking at each other, what are you doing? Stuff like that. And of course, these guys have a rivalry, a heated one at that in WWE when they're in NXT. They both even battled over the NXT, championship. So there's a lot of history there. Malachi Black is married to Zelina Vega, and then El Idolo, Andrade, she was his manager when they were all in WWE. I was just thinking what would happen if she had come to, to AEW and then managed them both, or managed one of them. You know, you know what I'm saying? But yeah, this match was what you expect from the match. It was really really good, despite the fact that these two teams really. I mean, even Pac said in the beginning, yeah, we're gonna get together. We're gonna be a tag team here, we're gonna work together, but once you know, once the match is over, he pretty much was saying all bets are off. We're not gonna be friends. I don't like you. That's what he said. And I don't think Pac likes anybody, but they were able to at least hang in there. And then in the end, they were able to get the victory. Cody had Andrade in a figure four because he was trying to do the figure four first. Andrade, I think, a tribute to his girlfriend Charlotte Flair's father. You hear woos in the audience. And then Cody Rhodes says, "You know what? I'll show you how it's done," and he does it. Has him in the figure four, and then Pac is on the top turnbuckle, does the black arrow, nails it, lands perfectly. That's Pac only can do. We all expect that from him, and then he ends up getting the pin. He ends up getting the victory, and it was a great match. And again, continues. The evening continues to just be perfect to this point. Now, the AEW Women's Championship match. The challenger is Ty Conti, and the champion is Dr. Britt Baker. And the match was very, very fast-paced at first. And I think what happened, something happened to where it started slowing down. I don't understand what it was or what it could have been. Ty Conti, you could see she was like gassed, and then Britt Baker the same thing. I don't know what it was that caused that, but the match was still good. I still enjoyed it, but you can see that towards the end, right when the match was done, and after the finish, they both were laid out. They both were like on their backs, and they were like catching breaths. You know what I'm saying? And I don't know what it was because they're both in great condition. They both, but probably the pace of the match, maybe it was something that caught up to them. I don't know. But, we saw Ty Conti, she was able to reverse the lockjaw. And then she almost got a pin on Britt Baker. And then after a series of transitions and moves and, stuff, offense and all that thing, we see another attempted reversal to the lockjaw by Ty Conti, but it's turned into a pinning situation by the champ, and Dr. Britt Baker retains it after a 1-2-3. So that match was, I guess it was just slow pacing. I don't understand what happened, but they still are two of the most talented females in this division in AEW, maybe even in the world. I love Ty Conti. I was pulling for her, but Dr. Britt Baker, she's just hot right now, and she's not going to drop that title. She's not going to drop it. Unfortunately, it's just like the situations in WWE where they're giving these title matches to these women that I like, and it's just like they're not going to win the title because the champions are on a hot streak. They're not going to take the titles off it. So it's the same with Dr. Britt Baker. She's not going to drop the title, not just yet. It's going to take a special person that AEW probably is going to get behind. And Ty Conti, I hope one day she will become a champion, but we had to wait to see. I mean, there's the TBS Championship. She may go after that. And now, of course, that is still in the process now. It's in the semis now. So, I think they announced that we're gonna see Karu Shida and Nyla Rose, I believe, on Dynamite. If I'm not mistaken, I don't think I caught that. I caught it on news, but I forgot where. But I think that's what's going to happen. But it makes sense because, of course, they're going to talk about, Dynamite. They're not going to talk about Rampage yet. But let's move on. Now, again, the evening just continues to be better and better. Eddie Kingston versus CM Punk. And it's immediate, The process, the action starts right away. Eddie Kingston does a spinning back fist. I don't know what Excalibur called it, but that's what it was, and he knocked out Punk. I'm thinking, is Punk out? Is this like the repeat or the replay of what happened to him in the UFC when he got knocked out in the first round? You know what I mean? He was down, but then when he got up, he flipped off Eddie Kingston, and that pretty much was that set the pace of this match. And in a match really? No, it more likely resembled a fight. That's what even JR said, And then we see Punk. He got pushed by Eddie Kingston into the steel post, and those things are, it's like square around, and it's not rounded off. The corners are sharp, And you look at CM Punk, and he was already bleeding out. He kept blinking his eyes to make sure that the blood gets out of his eyes. At one point, he was able to, to remove it, but I'm thinking that CM Punk, when he was on the, sitting on the top turnbuckle, Eddie Kingston was, was on top trying to straddle him to kind of, perform some type of move off it. And Bobby Punk, wiped it on his pants or something, because all of a sudden there was no blood, hardly any blood. It was all around his face and stuff. So I don't. That's probably how it happened. But Punk, there's a point where he was looking around, and I don't know if he was doing it because he noticed, but there were boos. People were booing Punk, and he was looking around, and then he just kept delivering knee after knee to Eddie Kingston. And he tried to do well. He did deliver the go to sleep before, and the way he did it, and I love the camera angle because you saw Eddie Kingston just double back and fall back into the ropes, but he was able to connect again. He hits him with the GTS, puts him to sleep. That's of course the name, go to sleep, and he wins the match and he remains undefeated. Well, yeah, he's still undefeated. I definitely know. I've definitely seen all his matches. I don't think he's won. I don't think he's lost yet. But yeah, it was a really really physical match. This is the match right here where I'm thinking this is my favorite match. I liked it. These two really didn't give a fuck. They really didn't care about each other, their well-being. They wanted to, especially Eddie Kingston. He came to fight, and at the end we see him extend his hand, Punk, to shake his hand, and then Eddie Kingston just turns around, walks out the arena, or walks out the ring and up to the thing, and he was basically just saying, hey man, I got no time for that. I'm out of here, And then you hear the commentator say, yeah, what do you call it? He earned Punk's respect, which Eddie Kingston feels like he doesn't respect him, And I read something, because it's been a few days now. I'm kind of doing this review late because I only got to watch it on Sunday. I have so busy working and everything. But they said that Eddie Kingston sustained an injury, and they even said that Malachi Black the same thing. I'm trying to figure out when. I did see Malachi Black kind of buckle, like his knees or something. Or it could be something else, but that's when I saw it. Eddie Kingston, who knows when during the match, what part? I don't even know what the injury is. I just read a headline that said that they're both injured. I don't know what the injury is, but I can't really tell. But I think it could be anything because he took bumps everywhere, so it could be anywhere, his arms, his legs, whatever. But I think with Malachi Black, I think it's his knee or something around the leg area, because I think I saw him kind of buckle at one point. Maybe, he landed. There's one time, yeah, like he landed, doing a flip, and he landed on the mat with his, on his toes, on his feet, But it looked awkward when he did it. So I don't know if that was it. But I wish them the best. Hopefully it's not too serious. And if it's serious, then go get your surgery, do your rehab, and come back stronger than ever. That's all we can. Any of us can really say. Now, the Inner Circle versus America's Top Team. Now, at first, before that, we see the legend and the master of the Iron Claw, Baron von Raschke. If those of you old school wrestling fans, I mean, when I started wrestling, he was already well retired, but I know his name. I know he was the guy with the master of the claw. I think he definitely maybe was an inspiration to the Dark Order when they do this. Maybe not, but they could definitely use somebody like him. He still looks like he got it. He's a very old man, but at the same time, those guys are tough, double tough, really. But let's go back, let's just start with this match. It's Minneapolis street fight, but it started out looking like a regular 10-man tag team match, but it did morph into a street fight finally, and I'm like, that's more like it. And then at one point, of course, it's a really crazy match all over the place. Orlovsky doesn't belong in the ring. That guy. The guys that come in and they're not trained wrestlers, I hate when they go in there, because when they're in the ring, they do a move and then they look around like, what do I do next? Well, at least Junior Dos Santos, he's undefeated in wrestling, according to what they said, the commentators. So he's wrestled before a number of times, and so he knows his way around the ring, even though he's primarily was a MMA fighter, But one point in the match, we saw Baron von Raschke. He slapped the iron claw on Ethan Page because Ethan Page was yelling and trying to antagonize Jake Hager's wife, and then Dan Lambert. He got his ass beat with a kendo stick to the head and a stapler to the nether regions. I don't know if Jericho got to staple his nuts, but he came damn close. And then Jericho, in the tribute to his close friend Eddie Guerrero, all of us who are Jericho fans, all the way back to when he was in East WCW and all that, we know how close he was to Eddie Guerrero. And he hits a frog splash on Lambert and pins him. And then afterwards, you see tears in his eyes, and he's looking up to the heavens, and he's mouths the words, "I love you." Real tearjerker. It got me. And you see his teammates, the inner circle, all of them point up to the air with Jericho, and they all know. Even Sammy Guevara talks about his love for Eddie Guerrero, and one of his heroes, one of his idols. And yeah, it's just sad that how long he's been gone. How long now? I think 2005 was when he died. This month, so it's been more than 16 years. It really was a sad day when he passed away. I remembered where I was, and it was tough. It really was. But that was a great touch. I like when Eddie Guerrero did that. I mean, Eddie Guerrero did that when Jericho did that. Then this match was crazy. It was just like I loved it because a street fight, and they brought out all these things that were made in Minnesota, Minneapolis. What's that? What was that? A butt cake thing, mold. I think that's what it was. We had hockey sticks, of course, and all kinds of gadgets, all kinds of goodies, that they were using on each other. Typical street fight, but it was fun. It was really, really just a crazy match, and I loved it. I thought it was great, and I'm glad that this match was made finally, and I'm glad that Dan Lambert's ass was the one that got beat down, and taken out and pinned by Jericho. He said he was going to pin Jericho, didn't do it. Tough for you. Now, before we get to the main event, we have a special introduction, and it's Jay Lethal. I remember Jay Lethal. I used to watch TNA and Impact before, and he was one of their main stars. Probably one of the true talents, an amazing wrestler. And he's a multi-time champion, and he makes his AEW debut. Well, that's what we think, but then he makes his announcement, and he confirms it that he is all elite. And then he steps into the Forbidden Door. He hears about this Forbidden Door, and he challenges Sammy Guevara for his AEW TNT title on Wednesday. And then Sammy Guevara comes out, and he tells Lethal, "You're on." He says, "You're on." So that's going to be a great match. I don't know when. Is it going to be... Well, you said Wednesday, so... yeah, definitely it is on, I guess. Yeah. So that's kind of cool. Jay Lethal, I want to see what he does and how he gels with Sammy Guevara, and how he can push... Sammy Guevara, because he can easily lose his title to this guy, Jay Lethal, who is amazing in the ring. He's now the pushover, multi-time champion. So see what happens. Now the AEW World Championship, Kenny Omega versus Hangman Adam Page. And these two are at the top of their game and are putting on an amazing display of athleticism, intensity, and sheer brutality. Now, I mean, in this match, we saw Kenny Omega deliver a Snapdragon suplex in the ring. Now, he's attempting it on the apron. We're thinking, okay, Hangman's going to reverse it, get out of it. No, Hangman goes for the ride and gets a Snapdragon suplex delivered on him onto the apron. As they say, the hardest part of the ring. And it looked really, really bad. Like he took it 100%. He didn't. It wasn't half. It wasn't this. He landed on that apron hard, and you're thinking, how is this guy gonna get out of this? And this happens, and then Hangman doesn't even stay down, and then we see Hangman get back into it because Hangman's one tough sucker, one tough motherfucker, right? He delivers an avalanche blockbuster to Omega off the top turnbuckle. And damn, what an insane move for the top rope. And Hangman does like a top ring post, like the ring post. He's on the top of the ring post, and he does an outside dive you know, onto Omega, driving him through the table. Well, into the table, kind of push the table back into the into the barricade there. What do you call those? The thing, but you know, and it was still incredible. The move was still great. It was still a great move. Just the fact that he dove off of the top, standing on top of the of the ring post. Not the turnbuckle, not the turn on, you know what I mean? And it was amazing. Sometimes I forget that these two can fly, that they can do high flying stuff, because oftentimes they're grounded, or they use a lot of power moves, or they lose a lot of other stuff. But they're high flying, especially Kenny Omega. He's crisp, he's smooth when he does that stuff, diving through the tope suicidas or tope con hero off over the top rope. I mean, amazing, amazing stuff. Now, we see an attempt by Hangman Page. He does a buckshot lariat, but he takes out the ref. But then we see him deliver the Deadeye on Omega, and then of course the referee's out, and then Aubrey Edwards runs out to the ring as fast as she can, and then she makes a near count. And I love that Hangman took out the weasel, that weasel Don Callis beforehand. Comes in there with the belt. And then Hangman turns around and he's like this. Oh shoot, And then he takes him out. And then, like I said, he was able to hit the Deadeye. Only for a near count. And then we see knees by Omega and stiff elbows and punches, and both men are delivering blows that should knock the either man out. And then we see the one-winged angel attempted by Omega is reversed, and then Hangman delivers it, but it's only for a near fall because, of course, according to what one of the commentators said, is that maybe the reason why that happened is because only Kenny Omega can deliver that effectively. That's true. Hangman finally gets what he wants, and that is to connect with that buckshot lariat, but he does it to the back of Omega's head, and then he goes for a second one, and before Hangman did it, he looked over to Matt Jackson, who was over there, because the guys came out, the Bucks came out, and then you see a solemn look in his face, in Matt Jackson's face, and he nods to Hangman like an approval from Matt Jackson, and then Hangman connects and pins Omega, and he is now the new AEW World Champion. And you see Matt Jackson just kind of like a smile and kind of emotional, and I'm thinking, what's going to happen? You even see Hangman look down. He kind of kneels down to a fallen Omega, and he says something, and Omega says something back. So is it like a reuniting now? Is these guys are going to come back together again, or was this one of those moments where even Matt Jackson said, "Yeah, it's yours, man. I'm not even going to try to stop you," because there's a history of how they stopped him from becoming the world champion before. So I guess this was their way of paying him back, in a good way, saying, "Okay, we're going to let you, because you deserve it." And after that, we see the Dark Order. They're on the stage. They didn't come down yet. They didn't come down the rampway. And then, when Hangman noticed them, he's like this. They come over. They all hugs all around. They put them on their shoulder. And that's how, AEW Full Gear ended. This video has gone quite a long while, but, it's a lot to talk about. 4-hour pay-per-view. Nearly 4 hours, about 3 hours and 58 minutes, something like that, and some change. But this pay-per-view is worth the $49. I would have paid $100 for this pay-per-view. They never fail. There's sometimes the only pay-per-view in recent memory, maybe the last couple of years, was All Out in 2020. I didn't like that pay-per-view, but I loved the 2021, rendition or edition of All Out, and this one topped that. There's people putting headlines are saying that, that Full Gear is going to beat Survivor Series, and it might, or maybe it already has, because look at the mess that you see with how they put the teams together for Survivor Series and WWE and all that stuff. I don't think they're going to compare. They better pull out something. They better pull something out their ass and try to at least do some effort so that you can beat this pay-per-view that I don't think this is going to be probably the pay-per-view that ends the year, and it's going to be the best pay-per-view. You know. So before I, before I, stop this, what do you call it? This video. I'm gonna pick my three favorite matches, or I would think the best matches. And there's a lot of good ones. You know, one of them is the Lucha Bros versus FTR. Then MJF versus Darby Allin. And then the last one would be Eddie Kingston versus CM Punk. You can't really pick, a match that would everybody would agree with. Like I said, every one of these matches were amazing. The Kenny Omega versus Hangman Page was great because of the fact that Hangman Adam Page, probably one of the best stories ever written, best storylines ever written. From the beginning, when he lost the match to determine the first ever AEW champion, him always drinking, not giving a fuck about anybody, the Dark Order taking him in, or they're trying to take him in and lead him on a good path. All this stuff, the turmoil with the Elite and everything. And then it culminates with this, you know. Like the matches I said are definitely my favorite matches. They're the matches that I think were the best matches. But doesn't mean that the other matches weren't just as great. But I enjoyed the entire pay-per-view. There's not one weak match. Even the women's championship match, where I think that the pacing something got to them, and it slowed them down. And so for some reason, it looked like they were winded. And then when the match ended, like I said, after it ended, they both were flat on their back and gasping for air. And I'm just going, what's going on? And what happened? Maybe something happened. I don't know. But like I said, I'll end this match. Oh, I'll end this pay-per-view now. Pay-per-view, God, I guess it's because I'm so tired. It's about 5 o'clock in the morning right now, Monday morning. But I'll end this video, and before I do, I just want to say thanks so much for watching my video. I appreciate your support. Well, that's that, and I'll end this video now. So those of you who stop by and check this video, I appreciate it. And in closing, as always, take care.